The HSRC and the University of the Free State say they're now launching a new social housing portal, basically a place where funders, stakeholders and other people in the space can find all of the resources they need. As you know, there are millions of people currently living in shacks because they can't find proper housing in our cities. And we can see data from Statistics South Africa that shows there's a huge movement of people from our rural areas to our cities. Professor Andreas Scheba is a senior research specialist at the HSRC. Professor Scheba, good afternoon to you and thank you for your time. What does this portal do? What kind of information will you actually find there?
Good afternoon, Stephen, and thanks for having me on your show. So this portal gives really anyone access to the latest data and information about social rental housing in the country. So it's completely open access and free. Anyone with a computer and internet can go there. And you can see all of the social rental housing projects developed in South Africa since 1997. You can zoom into the map. You see exactly where the projects are, how big the projects are, how many units, who the developer was, how it was financed, etc. So it's a fantastic tool for residents, but also for policy makers, for civil society organizations to keep track of the delivery of social housing projects in the country. We also have a dashboard that shows charts and graphs about the key trends in the sector. You can compare the different metros with regard to the delivery of projects, etc. So we're really pleased that the portal was launched yesterday with our key partners in the sector, such as the HSRC and NASHO, and the website address is socialhousingportal.org.za, and I hope that many of your viewers will go there and use it.
It is campaigning season, Professor Scheba. Are you able to then compare which models work? So you can look at which finance model works, which developer has a long track record in actually putting these houses up quickly. Are you able to sort of compare different models?
So at the moment, it's focused on social rental accommodation. It's important to highlight. The housing crisis is big in the country. We need a number of solutions and policy instruments, but we believe that subsidized rental accommodation is one important approach to provide people with better accommodation and better access to the opportunities in our cities. It's the first phase of the project. It's limited to the key information about all of the rental projects. But as I said, that's already a big step forward because until now, it wasn't easy for anyone just to get that information. So for the first time, we made it open access, and you can look for specific developers, for example, and look where they have developed these projects. You can look for particular funding streams and understand which projects fall under certain funding instruments. There is a lot in there. But we are also hoping to expand the portal in future and add more information, more layers, even more types of publicly subsidized housing projects.
So often we hear about new big housing projects. Some of them have been, put together by government. Sometimes it's the private sector in the sort of lower cost rental space. And these projects seem to take forever. There seem to be delays. Sometimes you hear the most amazing stories that, the houses were finished, but people haven't been allowed to move into them. Other people have occupied them. Can we improve the management of these projects, do you think?
Yes, absolutely. And again, in the social rental housing sector, we have a fantastic institution, the HSRC, as well as NASHO, which is the National Association of Social Housing Organizations. These are key sector stakeholders that are trying to build capacity within the sector, to professionalize the developers and the housing institutions, to make sure that all of the projects are accredited. So there is a lot of opportunities also for people to engage. And social rental housing projects, there are many very good examples that are really well managed, where people also, from different income bands, that's also important to recognize. There's cross-subsidization, and it's not just housing, but it's also additional services that are being provided.
Are cities actually managing this properly? I mean, if you look in the city of Joburg, for example, after that horrific fire last year, we spent a lot of time talking about hijacked buildings in the Joburg CBD. I mean, frankly, those buildings should be demolished and social housing should be built there. You know, new, safe buildings. Often they're office blocks that people are moving into, so we need new buildings. We need more planning in the city of Cape Town. There are arguments there. People say that the city or the province are prioritising parking lots rather than social housing. eThekwini has huge problems as well. Do cities get it? Do they get how serious this problem is?
Yes, I think they increasingly get how serious the project is. And we have just completed research with the Development Action Group and NASHO and a couple of metros on the release of municipal land for social and affordable housing. These reports will be launched on the 15th of May, where we look in detail about the internal processes within the municipality of how can you speed up the delivery of public land, municipal land, for the delivery of social housing. So there is a lot of already reforms happening, also here in Cape Town, where there is a lot of political support also for the release of public land, and officials are improving the systems and the laws and the policies. So there's definitely stuff happening, and we are optimistic that there will be more projects in the near future.
Professor Andreas Scheba, thank you. Senior Research Specialist at the Human Sciences Research Council. Really appreciate the time.